Can you feel it right now? That gentle, quiet voice pressing against your spirit. Not loud, not forceful, but steady. Certain, the one whispering, "Don't look back, something greater is on the way." This is not imagination. This is not wishful thinking. This is not a phrase meant to comfort you for a moment and then fade. This is the voice of God, calling you forward. Your eyes have not yet seen what He has prepared, but your soul already knows it exists. Your heart may struggle to explain it, but deep within you, something is stirring. A holy tension, a divine restlessness, a knowing that where you are standing now is not where your story ends. I need you to hear this clearly. The life ahead of you is far greater than the life you are leaving behind. Yet so many remain stuck in the middle of the road. One foot planted firmly in the past, the other hesitating toward the future. The body wants to move forward, but the heart keeps turning backward, and you cannot walk into tomorrow while your spirit is anchored to yesterday. God has not called you to remain chained to what once was. Not to past pain, not to past failures, not even to past victories. He has called you to move forward, upward, onward, into something new. And that new is greater than you think. The past is not your home. It is a reference point, not a residence. You may have walked through heartbreak that shattered you, betrayal that confused you, loss that hollowed you out, seasons where prayers seemed unanswered and silence felt louder than hope. But hear me, those moments were not your destination. They were preparation. Every tear that fell in secret, every night you wondered if you had the strength to keep going, every moment you stood alone while others walked away, it was shaping you, strengthening you, refining you, making room inside you for what you could not yet carry. If you keep staring into the rearview mirror, you will miss the signs God is placing directly in front of you. The reason God says, "Don't look back," is not because He is cruel or dismissive of your pain. It is because what lies ahead requires your full attention. You cannot receive the new thing God wants to place in your hands while your grip is still wrapped around something He has already removed. Some of you are still holding on to relationships God has already ended, jobs God has already closed the door on, dreams that belong to a season that has expired. You ask God for direction, yet cling tightly to what He told you to release. Let me tell you something with certainty. When God says something greater is coming, He means it. But greater does not always look the way the world defines it. Greater is not always louder, not always bigger, not always more visible. Greater can be peace that no longer breaks when pressure comes. Greater can be clarity where confusion once lived. Greater can be purpose that aligns your steps instead of exhausting them. Greater can be joy that cannot be stolen. Sometimes for God to give you greater, He must first take away what you thought you needed, but was quietly holding you back. I know it hurts to walk away from what you believed was your forever. I know the grief of releasing something you prayed would last. But listen closely. If it belonged in your future, God would have kept it there. The very fact that it is behind you is proof it was never meant to define you. You cannot drive into tomorrow if you keep slamming the brakes every time yesterday crosses your mind. The only thing you owe your past is gratitude for the lessons it taught you, not permission to imprison your future. God has already written the next chapter of your life, but He will not turn the page for you if you are still gripping the old one in fear. Faith requires release. You must trust Him enough to step into what you cannot yet see. Believe that His plan is greater than your memories. Understand that every closed door is not rejection, it is redirection. God closes doors to protect you, to preserve you, to keep you from paths that would delay or destroy what He has prepared. Some of you have prayed, "God, give me something new," while keeping your eyes fixed on what you lost. God cannot pour fresh oil into a vessel still filled with yesterday's residue. The enemy understands this well. That is why he pulls your attention backward. If he can keep you rehearsing the past, he can slow your movement into promise. That is why guarding your focus is not optional. It is spiritual warfare. You are not exhausted because your life is too full. You are exhausted because your heart is carrying weight it was never meant to bear this far. You replay conversations that ended long ago. You revisit wounds God already healed. You try to resurrect seasons he buried for your protection. Lay it down, leave it there. You cannot carry that baggage into what God has prepared next. God never removes without replacing. He never closes a chapter without already writing the next. When he pulls you out of one environment, it is because another has been prepared. One better suited for your growth. Every ending is the seed of a greater beginning. When God calls you forward, he calls you higher. And to rise, you must release what weighs you down. Fear will whisper, "What if the future isn't better?" But God whispers louder, "What if it is more beautiful than you ever imagined?" The same hands that carried you through your darkest nights are preparing your brightest days. You do not need evidence to move forward. You need faith. The enemy will tempt you with familiar places, old habits, expired identities. He will try to convince you that comfort is safer than obedience. But comfort can become a cage when God is calling you to soar. Nothing behind you is worth forfeiting what lies ahead. The version of you that survived back there is not the version meant to thrive up here. God is not asking you to abandon your history. He's asking you to protect your destiny. Stop watering dead trees. Start planting in fertile ground. What you thought were losses were actually pruning moments. God cuts away what cannot bear fruit in the next season. Not to diminish you, but to strengthen you. Seeds grow in silence. Just because you cannot see growth does not mean nothing is happening. If you turn back before the seed breaks the soil, you abandon the harvest you prayed for. Ease is not destiny. Familiarity is not calling. Not everyone from your past is meant to walk into your future. One day you will look back, not with pain, but with gratitude for the separations that once felt unbearable. Greater does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it comes quietly, through peace, through clarity, through a strengthened spirit. God's way is always forward. Oceans part for those who step. Mountains move for those who climb. When the greater arrives, you will not have to chase it. Obedience positions you where blessing overtakes you. Your past explains you. It does not define you. You have outgrown where you were. That is why it no longer fits. God is a builder. Sometimes the old structure must be torn down because it cannot support what he is about to give you. Honor the past by moving forward, not by clinging to it. The resistance you feel is proof you are close. The pull to look back intensifies just before breakthrough. God would not command movement if there was nothing ahead. Your destiny is not behind you. Your calling is not behind you. Your promise is not behind you. Everything he intends for you is ahead, so do not look back. Something greater is coming, and understand this clearly. When God says, "Do not look back," he is not being harsh, he is being protective. He knows the human heart is easily pulled toward what feels familiar, even when that familiarity once harmed us. The mind revisits old victories to feel safe, and old wounds to justify fear. But God is a God of movement. He has never intended for you to remain frozen in yesterday's chapter when he has already written a better one ahead. You are not meant to be a prisoner of memory. You are meant to be a steward of destiny. Some of you are still staring at the door that closed, asking why, while another door stands open in front of you, unnoticed. Not because God hid it, but because your gaze is fixed in the wrong direction. God is asking you to shift your focus, to stop watering what is already dead, and to start planting where life can still grow. Think about the path you have already walked. There were seasons where you felt stripped bare. Moments when people walked away without explanation. Times when opportunities dried up and prayers seemed to echo back in silence. You thought those moments were losses, but they were pruning. God removes branches that cannot survive the weight of what is coming next, not because He wants less from you, but because He intends more for you. He cuts away decay so strength can return. He trims what is heavy so growth can reach higher. And sometimes the greatest blessing God has prepared for you is hidden inside a season that feels like nothing is happening at all. Silence does not mean absence. Waiting does not mean abandonment. Seeds grow underground. Roots strengthen in darkness, and timing reveals what pressure prepared. Right now, while you wait, God is working in ways you cannot yet see. Aligning steps, rearranging paths, positioning people, moving obstacles that once seemed immovable. But hear this warning with clarity. If you keep looking back, you will miss your alignment. You will walk past open doors because you are still knocking on ones that have already been locked. You will miss divine appointments because your attention is tangled in expired connections. You will overlook new blessings because your mind is still fighting old battles. That is why God speaks so firmly. Do not look back. Do you realize how much energy it takes to carry the weight of the past? Some of you are not tired because your life is full. You are tired because your heart is heavy. You are replaying conversations that are over, rehearsing moments that cannot be changed, resurrecting seasons God buried for your protection. And the truth is this: the weight you are carrying was never meant to be carried this far. God is saying, lay it down. Leave it where it belongs. You cannot bring that baggage into what I have prepared next, because God never removes without replacing. When He takes, He gives. When He closes, He opens. When He pulls you out, He places you into something better suited for your growth. You may not see it yet, but every ending carries the blueprint of a greater beginning. When God calls you forward, He also calls you higher. And to go higher, you must travel lighter. You cannot climb while carrying every disappointment. You cannot rise while dragging every memory. Even good things, when they belong to a past season, become a burden if you insist on carrying them forward. God wants you free, light, ready. Some of you are standing at the edge of a new season, but fear has wrapped itself around your feet. Fear whispers, what if you lose more? What if it doesn't work? What if the future disappoints you? But God is whispering something louder. What if it restores everything you thought was gone? What if it heals what you believed was broken beyond repair? What if I am about to do something so beautiful that the pain of the past loses its voice? When you trust God fully, you begin to understand this truth. The same hands that carried you through your worst days are the same hands preparing your best ones. That is why you can step forward even when you cannot see the entire road. Your faith is not anchored in evidence, it is anchored in promise. And make no mistake, the enemy will try to tempt you with backward glances. He will remind you of comfort zones, familiar routines, old identities that once felt safe. He will try to pull you back into mindsets that kept you small, patterns that kept you stagnant, relationships that limited your growth. But you must decide firmly that nothing behind you is worth forfeiting what God has ahead of you. The greater that is coming will require a stronger version of you, a wiser you, a more disciplined you. Transformation cannot occur while you cling to the past. The old version of you survived there. The new version of you will thrive here. And even now, unseen battles are being fought on your behalf. Doors are opening beyond your sight. Blessings with your name on them are being protected.